King, Red Fox and Screechy down on 104.5 Radio. It's about 10 minutes after 8. Karibu sana kwa show if you're joining us. Sasa ile conversation ulikuwa unangojea imefika sasa. Guys, we are in the third hour of the show. Inaitwa mjadala koto public opinion. And super exciting kwa sababu the one and only mheshimiwa nominated MP Sabina Chege is in the building. Where's that thing? Ndo hiyo sasa. Pew pew pew. Good morning Mesh, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Si tuko salama manze. Tulijota commit.
Nimefika. Ilibidi niamke mapema.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
You're here.
Yes.
So how's your energy? How are you feeling? How's everything? How's your life? Mwaka imekuaje 2023 generally?
Mwaka ya 2023 imekuwa complicated. Lakini niko sawa. And this reminds me of my old good days when I used to wake up early at 4 a.m.
Those days for media.
Nilikuwa nafanya show ya asubuhi. The last one I did. Ilikuwa asubuhi naingia 4 natoka 10.
Manze.
So this reminds me of my good old days when I was in the media.
When was the last time you did a show? The last day ulikuwa na show yako. Sasa ukasema, this is it.
That must have been 2011.
Juicy too.
2011, before when I resigned. That was just before the nominations for then TNA. So I was on Shoro FM. So I did my last show. Kasema kwa heri. Na nimekuwa nikimiss tu kurudi.
Umemiss story ya media. Last time tulibonga na Jalas alikuwa hapa hivi.
Ilibidi afanye show.
Jalas. Niliambia Jalas, you know what? Take it away. Wendo sasa uko kwa deck. And he was telling us maze alikuwa amemiss radio. He was such a natural on the microphone. Actually I'll give you a chance. Hope uko hapa kwa deck kabla utoke. Tupeleke way back.
By them Haitians,
you know, but 10 years I might not.
You feel like you're rusty?
Yeah, I know.
Unatoa tu kutu kidogo. By the way, a happy belated Jamhuri manze. I hope jana ilikubambia wapi Reggae? Ulicelebrate ile gani?
I didn't go to the stadium. I watched. Alafu nilikuwa tu na kazi nyingine hapo complicated. So nilikuwa job.
Yeah.
And I stayed up late. So jana was a normal day for me. A normal working day for me.
You know, yesterday watu walikuwa nachikio speech. I don't know about the numbers. Nilikuwa nachikadi watu wakasema Ruto. I'm like, damn, he's actually very popular. Unachikadi kwa magazeti. Umchiko kwa magazeti. Apparently the president said that the country is on the right track. He said that difficult decisions and painful sacrifices had to be made, and they've now pulled the country from the brink of debt distress. Talked about taxation, defense tax measures, including the housing levy, removal of subsidies as necessary. Mambo ya corruption alisema he vows to support. Can you hear me? He vows to support the war on graft. Alikuwa anasema no single shilling shall be lost through theft and embezzlement. Pia akasema story unemployment. Igusia dit akasema he roots for the housing plan as a massive, deliberate and systematic job creation mechanism. Historia opening the borders and many other things. Sasa mimi nakuuliza tu Mesh. Wewe ukiangalia hii kitu, especially as a member of the Jubilee party, is the country on the right?
Watu now.
You guys are killing me. Your phone, Buddha.
Wanaanza.
Where's the most Yo, bro, are we in 1992 again?
82.
Anyway, simu gani by the way?
Manze, Jesus.
Ati mwisho sema.
Anyway,
hii ni ile mbaya.
Bro, you're killing me, man. Such a distraction. Anyway, Mesh. So ukicheki, is the country on the right trajectory? Are we on a positive trajectory? Vitu zinakaa fiti kwa ground.
What I'll say, let's give this government the benefit of doubt. And Kenyans, and especially even the young people, we must be positive. Unajua tuwezi kuwa tunaamka kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni tuna complain. The first thing you ask yourself is, what are you doing to make life better? Because, you know, government, what is government? They're just individuals and people that you place in positions. But a lot of decisions and what happens in our nation depends on me. If you didn't wake up in the morning to come work here, you don't expect the government to come back at home and give you food. So it's important to earn a personal initiative. And sometimes when we are so negative, it to affect people mentally. You know, when you wake up and you're negative, you know, it's going to be a bad day. You surely get a bad day. So for me, I'll say they are trying. I'm very optimistic because, you know, it's like being in a car. I was in Azimio and you know that. And so I was not part of this government. And when we lost, I accepted. You know, you accept and move on. They say, unaoga na unarudi soko, you know. But the thing is, it's like being in a car and you have this driver, and you're saying this is not a competent driver,
right.
and instead of doing something about it, you are waiting for you to crash. So you'll crash in the same car. You are inside that, and you're cheering in and saying, "Wacha waone, huyu dereta is not well trained. Tutakuwa tu na accident. Tutakuwa," and you're waiting for the accident, but you'll die in that car. So that is the same thing with our country. We have a nice and lovely country, and yesterday I saw the president also saying ametoa visa, so guys can come in and invest. There's too much. There's so much in it rather than just about visa, because we also have to make sure that when investors come here, we're also friendly to them, because a lot of investors are now moving out of the Kenya and going to our neighboring country. I was in Tanzania, I think 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people have moved there. So we need to ask ourselves the hard questions: why are investors? It's not just about visa, because visa anyway, it's not even expensive to come. I don't think Kenya has been that harsh on the people coming in. But you remember that small incidents of the airport and how people are being, harassed, treated. You come, I don't know, with 2 phones, the one is taken. It's really discouraged our people. And funny enough, even the people in the diaspora, when they were coming, they were afraid to land in Kenya. And they were landing in Tanzania and then using the road. So there are a few issues that we can really help. But if we have, like, the guys with immigration, that's an individual. If somebody decides to go rogue, sometimes the president is not in each and every department. He has also entrusted people in that various departments where we have power blackouts every day.
But
there are things that might not be right, and that's why I say it's a personal initiative. All of us must take charge. We must all be responsible. But once we keep on blaming and blaming and blaming, one, it affects us, all of us mentally. It's affecting our young people. Yani mtu anaamka tu hakuna hope.
Na get tunasema, but I mean, people have to call out the president. If you sing videos,
there's no problem with calling him out, and it's good to even also call out and also offer solution.
Absolutely.
For instance, the topic we'll have today and what we'll be discussing about is a problem. I've seen it. I've seen kids who have been affected. But if I decided to say the president must, what am I doing? Because I've also been placed in parliament. President doesn't come to parliament to pass laws. So we must all take our own initiative. Whether it's the people who are lawmakers, you guys who are out there, even in the media. If you wake up in the morning, when I used to broadcast, I used to ask myself at the end of the day, why am I doing this show? And what impact will I have within those 4 hours when I'm on air? So ukimaliza show, ebu jiulize ukikaa pale nje, nimefanya nini leo? Have I even given one person hope to live for another day?
But you see, unachikio reasoning ni fiti sana. You can ask yourself, audit unasema, okay, how have I added value kwa hii narrative yetu kama wa Kenya? Have I been resourceful in any way? That same energy, I can use it to ask the question. You say, okay, you guys, mulitu promise makazi as youth. You said every year 100,000 youth watakuwa wanaingia kwa jobs. Unaget, but so far mavijana, nilikuwa checking some statistics. They're saying about 2.1 million young Kenyans are unemployed, and some of them have papers. Watu wako na skills. Now we're seeing the president anasema, mi sinangi tu tour hivyo. I'm not a tourist. Nenda huko majuko watafutia kazi, right? Juzi pale nilikuwa nachiki wanasema there's going to be about 1,000 Kenyans wanaenda kwa mafarms za Israel, right? That's another conversation. But Gava, when you look at the manifesto, the promises for Kenyans, are they struggling to make these things a reality? Ama we should just be patient.
Okay, being patient, yes, but there's one thing about promising and the actuals. Ni kama vile tu mtu akiingia kwa marriage, unakuanga umemko in love, you just see like everything is going to be heaven. But there are ups and downs. But how you can do it differently, instead of just saying government promised. We have like the ministry now that is in charge of labor and social issues. We have the PS, we have the CS. Call him here. Ask him. The president went and said, maybe in UK, there was this agreement that was signed about our nurses. How far is it? How can our people access? Because again, there's also lack of information. So when you're here, you don't just have to call out the government. Lakini, call the responsible people. Because I say government is amorphous. Who is government? They are individuals. So if it's a ministry of labor and social services, we have officers who can come and tell you, by the way our guys are going to those Middle East countries, why they get mistreated because they don't use the right channels. So if you're looking for that job, these are the agents that have been approved by the government. These are the types of jobs, and this is how you apply. This is how you go, so that you don't just get a rogue person there who goes and dumps you in the Middle East. Then you suffer and you don't have anyone you can be able to call to, or you're mistreated. Because the opportunities are out there. And I can tell you, if we are able, all of us, to consolidate and stop pointing. You know, I always say when you point fingers, remember the rest. You're pointing with one, but the rest, they are three. They are pointing back at you. So let's, and this was my former president, who used to say it starts with you. It's your own responsibility.
Yes.
And people criticized him. No, you're the president. He's just an individual. He's not that he's the most genius person. You know how politics happen in Kenya. Nategemea nani amekuwa popular, umekuja umepromise wase nini. But it doesn't mean that that person, like, is a genius or he's a know-it-all. Yes, call out when things are not going on. They say these things are not, but also ask yourself, what is my contribution? As I've said, you guys have access to the young people, and young people are very creative also.
Absolutely.
So they also need to, give them a platform even to come and challenge and say, by the Gava, you guys are doing this and this, but we would suggest, as young people, don't make decisions on our behalf, because you find like even in the Ministry of Youth, you not get a lot of young people there. You get us old guys are the ones who are making policies for the young people. And things have changed. How I was brought up, it's not the way you guys have been brought up.
But unajua kwa nini, it's interesting, unadhani maybe young people don't engage when it comes to policy making conversations. Wase wako indifferent. People say, you know what, even if we suggest you a different kind of policy, haitafika. Imambo ya public participation.
That's what I'm saying, negative vibe.
No, I'm just telling you
be
what's
very positive. That's what I'm saying. Be positive and start, I've seen young people who have started like projects, and then the government notices them and help them, because they can see, watu they're doing something different. Wamejituma. Hata kuna pale nimeona kujituma somewhere hapa nikikuja hivi. Tuanze kujituma, kwa sababu if we all become miserable and start blame game, we'll not go anywhere.
Okay, fine.
For me, I believe that things can be better. Okay. We are not at our best. We are actually somewhere very down, but we are better than maybe some of the countries, even our neighboring countries. You'll only appreciate Kenya the minute you leave this country and go there. People speak so highly about our country. Unajua inakwanga Wakenya ndio hawapendi nchi yao. When you're here, you just see negative things, but you go there, you go to Tanzania, umetoka Kenya. And then they talk so positively about us.
There was a lady ametoka the Tanzanian Youth Parliament. Alikuja hapa hivi, she's called Madam Helena, a friend of ours. Akasema dawa Kenya bana, mimi nashangaa mbona mpendi president wenyu. Jamaa yani anaenda church, unaona yuangangana bana mambo ya climate. I'm like, yo, sis. Unaishingia hapa Kenya kweli, uko ground hapa. But nimecheki ulimention na former president, our former president Uhuru Kenyatta. And sasa nataka kugusia tu sasa, before we get into this Velo conversation, hii maneno ya Jubilee politics, party politics, imekuwa noma sana. There's rumors, you requested for rumors, GI naenda kukuchezea. But I did my research and I heard you are the acting party leader of Jubilee.
Yes.
Kabla sasa niangalie hiyo siasa ya Jubilee in itself. What is the position of Jubilee when it comes to the high cost of living? You guys, will you castigate the government, ama you support izima policies zao za taxes nini?
We will support what is positive for Kenyans. We will also
What's positive then?
I mean, I'm saying what is good for Kenyans. If there is a government policy that is good for Kenyans, we'll support. Where we need to put our voice, we'll also put a voice, a very strong voice. Where we'll see things are not going right, we'll call it out. So for us, and that's why we asked to be recognized as an independent party in parliament. We have not joined Kenya Kwanza, and we left Azimio. One of the things that made us leave Azimio, if you flash back 2018, remember our former president did a handshake. And one of the things that he did to convince some of us, he said, Kenyan peace, is better. It's better than anything else. When we are peaceful, we can be able to negotiate other things. And he was against any form of violence or demonstration. And he called Baba then. They had a handshake. Most of my colleagues were very upset with that handshake, and they left Jubilee. Some of us sacrificed. I did not even go to Vai. I did Baba's campaign in the whole country. I got sick. I almost died. But God has been faithful. And so when we came back to 2022, and we lost, we had hopes in High Court, in Supreme Court. We lost again. And a decision was made. And then my president, my former president, went to Kasarani, gave instruments of powers, and confirmed there's a presidency. Then you cannot tell me the following day I wake up and I say I don't recognize there's a president in Kenya.
So
I decided that I would not go through that route. I decided I'm not going to tell our young people to come out on the streets, because I was given also a second chance to be in parliament. And I can be able to make policies. I can be able to speak for them when I'm there. Calling people to come out on the streets or even to put sufurias on their head. At the end of the day, what will happen in the evening? When these demonstrations were happening like on Monday, on Thursdays, when our children are going to school, I'm a mother and have kids, then what am I doing? The kids are not going to school, businesses are being closed, others, there was vandalism and everything else, our young people are being killed. And you see, the worst part and why I felt I will not be part of it is that when these demonstrations are done, our Kenyans is very different and unique. If you look at like South Africa, you'll find that these guys, the politicians, they come out of the streets, they walk, and there's this multitude and they are working together. They will go and do their petition or go and, say whatever they have to do and done. But here, we have our young people running after us as we are inside the cars in our AC. When the tear gas is thrown, we just go back. At some point, even people had this very well guarded vehicles, so bulletproof. So wewe bullet haitakuhit. But for the young people, bullet ikirushwa inawapata, tear gas wanakula. So at the end of the day, why do we want to misuse? And finally, and the question that I ask myself, am I doing this for myself or for the good of the nation?
I was actually going there.
Because at the end of the day, how come when people do deals, they go quiet? We asked for dialogue. The dialogue came. We have seen what has come out of the dialogue. I don't want to really dwell or go deep in it. But it's the same thing when we talked about BBI. A lot of things that were in that dialogue is what back again 2020 when we were talking about BBI, when you talked about the issue of winner takes it all, because it's very unfair that people go into an election and then like you have almost half of the Kenya divided into two. This one has his own followers, this one, and maybe they can imagine that the person who won is a very small margin. Then you cannot just tell that person, go back home and stay. And my suggestion was, this person who becomes number 2 and his deputy becomes the leader of minority in parliament, and his deputy becomes the leader of minority in Senate. So instead of going to the street, he is inside parliament, and he can be able to critique.
For sure.
He can be able to participate na kurepresent wale watu wake ambao waliachwa. But what happens, because I want to be relevant, politicians vile si ufanya kama siko kwa power, kama siko kwa position, nataka kuwa relevant, ndio watu wanikumbuke after 5 years. Otherwise nikinyamaza mtakuwa mmenisahau.
But kabla tuendelee things from that angle, sorry Kev, unajua umesema wewe ndo the acting party leader Jubilee. But another faction hapo Jubilee wana recognize Uhunye ndo party leader. What's going on over here?
It's a constitution, it's not about us. It's good for the law, and it's not me.
In fact, even Jubilee followers majority think Uhuru, unakumbuka hata tulikuwa hapa hivi na nani Fadela. They recognize Uhuru Kenyatta as their party leader.
He has been a party leader and we supported him. What does the constitution say? Once former president ceases being the president, within 6 months, he ceases holding any political position. So he cannot be a party leader. Otherwise, he's then not supposed to be enjoying the benefits of a retired president because he's still active in
politics.
So our former party leader, once the 6 months elapsed, he never gave a name of an acting person. And the Jubilee NEC, out of 24 of them met. And because they were aware of this position, they met and decided that I become the acting party leader until we go to the NDC, and Jubilee members can choose the party leader that they want. So it's not a position that I've endorsed myself. It's a position that was made by the NEC. This matter, we're already in court anyway, and there are many things that are happening. But I'll say it's a very selfish position to be at, because we have been behind Jubilee for the last 10 years. And in leadership, you also must mentor. You also must know when to let go. It's not just about Sabina, about myself. In the next maybe 10 years, I may not be doing politics, but how many people will I have brought up? Do I need to hold on? I don't know, ni tabia ya Waafrika. Ile kukwamia.
Unatusho former president anafaa kuacha active politics.
Si anafaa kuacha. Sio mimi, ni constitution.
Because he's very active. Tumemcheki kwa ground.
Because also when you must know, na kuna wimbo I think inasema you need to know when to leave the stage. And na unatoka tu na decency. Acha tu umefanya. You see, our former president, where he sits now, God has blessed him. His father was the first president. It is by God's grace that he also became a president. One family. So pali amefika na experience hiyo, ulikuwa exposed, your father was the president, you're a young boy, na wewe umekuwa president. So that means he's the most experienced politician in Kenya. He should sit down and becomes a statesman. Where positively hata president anaweza mpigia simu na kumwambia manze, hii kitu imekuwa ngumu. I criticize you when you're in position, lakini pia mimi imenilemea. Na anakana amwambia here, this is what you do, this is what you do, because it's not about him. This is the time he can give back to this community that trusted his family, his father, and also trusted him and supported him 100%. But you see, the same thing I told you about the driver who is careless or who is not, you know, and then you're clapping and saying this car might crash. What are you doing to help? So it will be a very selfish, you know, position for somebody to feel, I must be the one, I must be the one. You must know when to leave the stage, and once you leave the stage, also become a blessing to others.
Na hizi wrangles, Mhesh, ukiangalia zilianza from way back, ama ni to time umeonekana ni kama unajaribu ni una support the government of the day?
No. This thing started, that's why we lost. It's lack of leadership. And you know, in politics it's what you see na kuna zile kule chini ya meza. It's, if you recall how Jubilee, we had 177 members of parliament. Today we have 28 from 177. And a lot of people left because they felt there was no proper leadership, and there was victimization within our party, which is true. Some people, you know, ilikuwa ukijaribu kusema a different opinion unagongwa. Yes. So sasa from there people left and formed other parties, went to joined other parties. Out of our you know, we were not really organized. We declared our support to our presidential candidate very late. I think it was March. Surely we only had 4 months as a party to even sell our candidate. And that's how majority of our people lost. If you look at maybe records, 2022 January, I called out the president and I told him, surely, we don't even know una print t-shirt ya nini, which is going to be our party. Lack of leadership is a delay too. Is it you don't make decisions?
Yes, let me ask you.
Yes.
From your assessment, the members of parliament ukivo previously in Jubilee, unadhani walikuanga na wana support history ya handshake really?
Some supported, some didn't. Some
how was it?
supported,
Majority didn't. How was it like?
Actually, nobody had a problem with the handshake.
Okay.
The problem was explanation. Like,
ilikuwa late.
Kwa nini, yani, unajua unaamuka, unapata. There was no meeting, there was no conversation. And even in our last parliament, do you know, we didn't have a PG, a parliamentary group meeting. You know, when you meet as a PG, kama members of parliament with your party leader, that's when now you ask questions in-house. Kunaendaje, muna explain why ndio hii. Even when the rango started between the president and his deputy, then who is now the president.
Yes.
Hatukujua nini na happen. Some of us, we were, you know, caught up in between because we were very close friends to both of them. Then kama watoi, baba na mama wanaanza kufight. So do you support your mother? Do you support your father? And we were left in a very, you know, bad position, I would say.
I understand.
Because we started this journey together, but we don't know what transpired. Even today, I can't tell you what transpired. And so some of us were back in a baba.
Unajua mimi nikiongea na my guys, first of all, you establish one fact. ODM is the longest serving party right now. Yani wakuna structures zingine fiti sana. You know, their party leader hata kama tumesikia, oh, you know, primaries hazikuangi fair huko, all that things. But wamekuwa solid, ni kama wanaongea na sauti moja. The vibe that I'm getting in Jubilee ilikuanga the moment kulikuwa na wrangles. Yeah. Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege akasema, you know what, I'm done, guys. There's nothing like even sorting our internal wrangles. Nenda ile camp ingine. I'm going to be affiliated. I'm going to support the other camp.
No.
That's the vibe people are saying. So walikuwa nasema hata kama kulikuwa na shida na wewe na your SG Kioni, why did you have to decide to step out?
It is not, you know, unaona two results. It has been a journey. Yani before even the elections, even how we conducted the elections, how we conducted our nomination. Yani unajua to struggle, tumeshikilia. And finally, even when we found ourselves now in this situation where we lost, we still called for meetings. We still begged to even have a strategy meeting. There was nothing. So you wake up one day, you find Kioni in a sufuria in the head. You're like, ala, wani kunaenda? What happened? You know, you must make sure that whatever you do, you have a clear picture on where you want to go.
Na me consult.
So ukianza revolution, what is the end result or end game? You must be strategic. But if you just wake up and decide, this is it. What is Kioni doing? Kioni want to relevance. He wants to be noticed. Because he's not a member of parliament.
Yeah.
I would ask one question. If Kioni was genuine and his team How come all the members of parliament, only 2 are with him? And those 2 even who are with him, it's because one of them, Mwenje, was promised my position that I was holding. Was told, wewe achana now, I'll give you a position. And was given the position. But what is he doing in it?
So
what is he doing with the position?
At what point did you decide? Because I know you also had a meeting with the deputy president.
Yes.
You and the guys who were not comfortable with Kioni. Na hiyo mambo ya kubeba sufuria. Muli discuss nini vilienda
kumit na maneno ya Kioni ama it was not about, we just found ourselves that we were on our own. When we went to parliament, we missed some of the positions. Our even position as a commissioner for Jubilee, we didn't get it, went with ODM. We were bullied. You know, this big brother, the syndrome.
Big man syndrome.
Yes, tukaanza kufinyiliwa. We were treated like we are a party that's a very small party. Wiper got even more privileges than us, and they are number 3. We are actually number 2. We have 28 members. Wiper has 24. So ODM is the one that has many members in our coalition. So tukamistri tu tunatafuta sasa baba yetu. Tunamwambia, please, let's have a meeting. Tukwambie what is happening. Atuongeleshi. Amenda is in action. So huyu Kioni tuko na PG, sisi hatuitwi PG ya Azimio, tunapata kuna PG. Then they go and pass decisions. Even when the decision they decided to remove me. Can you imagine? No one called me, including Baba.
Wow.
Even to ask me, Sabina, why are you doing this? Or can we have a meeting? Or why have you made this decision? So by the time tulikuwa tunaenda, tulikuwa tushafukuzwa. So as we were orphans and decided, aya, tutaka hapa, tutaumia. We must have a position because also even in politics, you must be relevant too. And so what happened, even by the time we were going to
DP.
First time to the DP, we didn't go as Jubilee. Tulienda tu kama watu wa Mount Kenya kwanza.
Okay, Mount Kenya politicians.
We went as Mount Kenya politicians.
Ulienda kupewa direction?
Not direction. We went to talk to him. Because if you recall, every Friday, kulikuwanga na kagazeti notice kalikuwa kanatokea. Everybody who was from our region, who was in the government then, it was almost a plan that they all had to be removed from the board, from the government. So we went to ask him, by the way, you have been a government officer, and you know, the people in government offices serve the government of the day. Why do you want to victimize people? Because you're in the previous government. And at the assumption that government was not kind to you. So you also want to do the same. So what's the difference between that other government and this other government? That was where we started our conversation. We didn't go for us. We went because there was a very huge outcry. People are just being, you know, you have a job, you work for the government. The following day, unapata, umedigazetu, and somebody else has been given you a job. Just because you were in the previous government. We even reminded him, even the current president was in the previous government. And it was only happening to people in our region. Because there was a lot of bitterness.
So mulikuwa dai.
So tulienda kutetea watu. Even when we went to meet with the president.
Kenyan people.
We went as a Mount Kenya before we even went as Jubilee. So our concern was how our people in the government were being mistreated. The people who were in the board, they were just unceremoniously removed. Not because you didn't perform, but just because you were appointed by the previous government. And some of them were, you know, in very good people who are working and doing a great job. So I told him, you need to go slow. And he booked for us an appointment with the president. And when we were in the president, we told him, we started with you. You were actually in our party. You were even the one who left. But the people you're also firing, remember, you got a huge and a big percentage of votes in Mount Kenya. Even if we did not vote for you, those people you are firing, they are the relatives of people who voted for you. Most of them even voted for you. It's only that they were quiet when you are a government officer. Apart from a few who are bold enough to show their position, and maybe they were pushed to show their position, people were silent. So you don't know how I voted. And so you cannot victimize me because I was appointed by the previous government. We told him, go slow. Because also there is institutional memory. If today watu wakuje tu watolewe vibes, wote watolewe kuletwa watu wengine wapya, how do they even know your audience, what they like? There must be institutional memory. So as we went not to ask for anything, we were just concerned about, that was our first concern. And many other issues that came up.
Unajua former watu wa ground kasisi hapo base mazetu kibonga history tunasema damn. Okay, hapa inakanika kina Sabina Chege wanataka handshake. Na kusho tu vile basic in a very basic way. At least
I've explained to you what happened.
Then that makes sense.
And by the number 2, even handshake is not bad. If it's for handshake for the benefit of this, why did Baba come to Uhuru 2018?
Yeah.
Because we can't continue fighting. If we continue fighting, unajua Kenya imekuwa ni ile nchi immediately after elections kama zingine zinaanza immediately. At what point do we sit and strategize and say we need to work for our people? Why do we need to keep our people always on toes? Yani lazima tushinde tu campaign kwani it's about us.
But unajua
It's
sasa
about performance.
Napo sasa mtafanyaje cause as far as we are concerned so far vile kunakaa Mount Kenya ndio Central haina a leading party sahi. Si kama vile tunasema ODM.
UDA.
Tuko, you know, UDA is a national party. Jubilee was actually a Mount Kenya party.
Yeah.
But so, right now, actually, it's half. Northeastern members are half of our members in Jubilee. So, they're actually more. Our hope, let me just say our hope, because we are hopeful, is that Jubilee will, all these strangles will
revive
end.
Jubilee.
Mtaanza ingine.
Atuanze ingine, and that's why tulisema sisi. You know, kwanza, why I'm happy is that we can discuss Jubilee. Yeah. Everybody said Jubilee is a dead party. And tumeipatia tu life.
Yeah.
So, you know, ilikuwa hii ni party mpaka tukawekewa mpaka kaburi. Tulitukana tu sasa hii. Watu wanaongea maneno ya Jubilee.
Just last year Jubilee
ilikuwa
the ruling party.
Alafu wakasema tumekufa, tukazikwa. But now we have revived Jubilee. What we would want, and this is a mistake that happened and we don't want to repeat again. We want, once these court cases are done, because all we did and in our team and with the members of parliament that we are with and with the NEC members, we followed the law. And once we finish all these court cases, we want to go to mashinani. We want Jubilee to be owned by the people. Because Jubilee is not about us who are 28 members of parliament.
It's about Mama Mboga, Wanjiku.
It's about the person on the ground. But from 2016 when we started Jubilee, we've never had grassroots representatives. Even the ones who on paper, they're just names that were forwarded. We want to go to the ground from the ward level. We get supporters from youth, women, you know, and the whole structure. We start from the grassroots, going all the way to the national level. So that we at the national level are not the ones who are making decisions on behalf of our people.
You know,
kuna chama kayo.
With ODM, I can tell you,
but ODM,
my experience.
ODM, the last time tuliona kina Jalas tuja kujishikanisha na president of the day, Kaliwaramba. Yet ODM iko na democracy. Na vijana wanapigwa whips.
What I'll tell you, ODM, if you go to even Abari or somewhere, utasikia tu mtu amerecognizewa asalimiane chairman wa chama ya ODM.
And then grassroots now wako
na grassroots. Despite no party is perfect. But they have a grassroots. And maybe we'll say there's something they believe in. Unajua, the minute we will have political parties not acting as individual, you know,
but kitim sasa.
An individual party where an individual decides jump.
But they are private entities. Is it wenyewe?
That's what I'm saying. We must now distance the parties from wenyewe. Because wenyewe kama wewe unafikiria wewe ndio mwenyewe, si basi usimame peke yako. Useme chama ni yako.
Okay, so
surely what we need to do is have structures like what you know in the US. You are either Democrat or a Republican.
That's cool. That's
There's something that you believe in. Lakini you know what has happened in Kenya? Our political parties ni zile na kuja kusema mimi nitakuwa Mama Mboga, mimi ndio nitafaitia youth. After that nikiingia nasahau. Na ndio next now 2027 tena nitatafuta kitu kingine, and that's why I'm change my political party.
Unacheketa some time back about 2 months ago tulikuwa nacheki DP alikuwa anasema you know, I'm trying to reach out to the former president, nataka sasa tuunganishe central yote. Sasa tulete tu kwa Jubilee. Number one, are you willing to actually you know, sort out the issues between you and the former president? Maybe sasa as a way of, you know, rejuvenating
Can
the
I tell you something? There are no issues between me and the former president. I have no issue with him.
You guys talk in terms?
We talk in terms. You only talk to a person who can talk to you. You cannot talk to a stone.
So he doesn't talk.
The thing is this: I have no issue if there's anybody who sacrificed everything to make sure that he has a decent send off, that he's not humiliated, that he's not left alone. Call that person Sabina. And even when the things went south, even within our coalition, we reached out to him. The only thing is, us, we are not interested in anything, because even the political party, being called a Jubilee acting party leader, does not add anything on my plate. Okay. But the thing is this: we would want our party to stand. We would want our party to be known of what it stands for. Once you go to the grassroots, then we say this is going to be our manifesto. Since the manifesto are only for the election, then after that is done. We look at what is good for Kenyans. Then would want maybe 50 years down the line, Jubilee party will still remain Jubilee. So the mutation of political parties to feed a specific vibe kwa sababu mnataka kuwin tu, alafu after that mnasahau. We want a political party that's going to be strong and that will go to the grassroots. We have no issues at all. We have no issues.
Kufiriaje, there's another angle mtoka anaje kurizo na semaje, ili tunafanya ma MPs wengi wakienda kwa hizi parliament wa perform ni kwa sababu waliingia through chama. Unage ni Jubilee lingiza watu ndio wako na majority. So whatever they're going to talk there, the leader
ni party agenda.
Ni party agenda. Hii tuna vote hivi, tupende nini ipite bill ya finance bill ipite isipite, chama yetu. So there was someone anasema inafaa kuwe chama ni ya kupitisha watu pale. Ukifika pale ukwe an individual, ndio at least uweze kuongea ile kitu ili kufanya watu wako wakuvutie kwa ground.
There are several dynamics and I will tell you. The first dynamic is maybe if a political party want to push an agenda for the good of the people and they call the members and convince them, you may be seeing this way, but this is what we want to achieve, the bigger picture. But there are also a side that you can take, whether your political party supports it or not, and say, on this one as an individual, I will say no. And I'll give you an example. There's a time when I was the chair, the first time when I was the chair of education, there were issues that were brought in my committee and we rejected and they had been communicated by the president. But we didn't just reject, we actually did a communication. And said this was not formed and this was not followed. And we actually advised the president on what to do. We came to parliament. It was a heated debate. And we won at the end of the day. Some people even went to the ground saying, no, Sabina is fighting the president. But even the president knew what we said was the truth.
All right.
Because, you just pass something in parliament, then somebody goes to court, and then it's challenged, all this drama that happens. So it's not that you have to blindly follow. Sometimes maybe your party leader will call and say, this one, we want to do it this way, and explains, and then hapa unaona sense. Na kuna wengine wanaweza mwambia yenyewe hata kama niyo allow us to part ways, because also politics are very local. Kuna kitu inaweza pitishwa na inaumiza watu wangu. So mimi nitasema niseme, by the way, for the sake of my people who voted for me and who allowed me to be in parliament, ni uruhusu tu niseme hapana.
All right.
Na hapo pa
let's take a short break.
Wale wangu wanapigwa Kiru.
Na nani?
Kuna proof.
Hebu muulize.
Hapa kituambia.
Let's take a short break. Nakumbuka mesha kisema bebe. Let's take a short break, guys. Bebe mesha atakuuliza tukirudi whether Uhuru Kenyatta former president will be a factor in 2027 when it comes to central Kenya politics. Ama hiyo story yake imeisha hivyo. We'll talk about that tukirudi. Right now, my guys, just a quick reminder. Buda unaweza shinda dofiti. It is all about tazama utuzwe, right?
Tazama utuzwe.
Habari njema, mchezo mpya wa kushinda hela umewasili. Tazama utuzwe ni mchezo rahisi na njia haraka ya kushinda hela ukitumia simu yako. Now grab your phone, alafu weka hapo kwa paybill number 145656. Acha niseme tena 145656. Kwa account number weka the initials KM.
Kenya and my mother, KM.
Nikev Matara. Aya, when it comes to the your place ya kudeposit, tunanibamba maze, you can actually deposit at least as little as 20 bob. Unaweza cheza na 20 bob hadi 50 bob, and this one guarantees you ushindia 20,000, 20k hadi 50k. Now better yet, bado kama mfuko iko sawa, unaweza cheza na 51 bob hadi 99 bob depending on how much, 60 bob, 70, whatever you have. That's hapo uko guaranteed to win between 100,000 shillings and 300,000. Hiyo ndio fiti sana. Imagine yani hii do inaweza kujenga aje
kwanza na hii
festival. Buda
Mombasani tunasija, so Mombasani, Zanzibari tunasija. Hapo tunapitia shortcut. Manze hii do ni mob.
And then surprise pia wazae.
Manze
umecheki ground vitu hazijakuwa noma, so you might wanna also unasema niaje dada please Mombasa school fees, I got it.
Kiro hapo.
Yeah, and I saw
kweli ile namba mengine. No mesi ni simple sana manze. 20 bob to 50 bob una win 20k to 50k, na of course 51 bob to 99 bob una win 100 to 300,000. Ni simple. Account number mazuri umesikia ni 145656 na unapiga hapo vika KM.
Yeah, the paybill, that is the paybill cap. 145656 and the account number is the initials KM. Tazama utuzwe. Tukirudi, we're still hanging out with nominated member of parliament Sabina Chege. Shikilia hapo hivyo. Remember www.vibesradio.co.ke, alafu unaweza to get up hivyo live on channel 172 on #KTNBTV hapo hivyo start times. Good morning, it's about 11 minutes to start.
This is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.
that how you pronounce it? Aje?
So ulisema sijui Kikuyu. Nisema ni
ama mehesha tusaidie.
Kwanza sema hapo. Unasema?
Idhetiwe guy, yani isiniwe Mwenyezi Mungu.
Idhetiwe guy.
Idhetiwe guy.
Isiniwe Mwenyezi Mungu.
Ni wewe Mwenyezi. Nani alifanya track?
Huo msanii ni mnoma sana.
Ashia. Good. Ina sound fiti sana Kev. Exactly. You're very interesting today. Haya 0719012700 nitafunga phone lines in the next hour.
Ngoma tu visaba hizo. Na si reggae.
Hey brother, mimi tangu ile day tuende Central. My man. That's my second home. I love it. I love it. Unajua wanasemanga Central is the land of abundance. Kuna kila kitu huko. Road network iko sawa.
Ulisikia ule mjeshi alituambia
wapo
ende Nyeri. Huko si Kenya.
Maji hizi potea.
That's another country.
You know, there's always electricity. It's amazing. Maybe it's because of having 3 presidents kutoka huko. Anyway, guys, tuko na mheshimiwa Sabina Chege is here with us. Na tumemedi by the tumereason mambo ya of course Jubilee party politics part of the reason sai unachikiwa na support serikali. Now, there's this big conversation about enye ulipeleka to the floor of the house mheshimiwa. This one is to do with the ban of Velo. Apparently it's a nicotine substance allegedly abused by youths in Kenya. My guys wengi wa young wanatumia sana historia ya Velo. And Kev over the weekend, one of our friends, yeye pia alikuwa juu ya mavitu.
Story tatu ine taking. Anaisunda.
I know manze. Na unacheki actually jana morning nilikuwa kwa mall. I went for some shopping. Na there was a young guy amekuja hapo hivyo na anajaba yo. Mko na Velo hapa hivi. So this thing has really been normalized. I didn't ask kwa ofisi my guys wanaitumia. What inspired you to go and propose the banning of Velo, this substance?
You know, I was just trying to fight for justice for our young people because Velo is just a product. There was another one ilikuwa inaitwa Lift. And so they also come in with different names. But let me just address it as nicotine pouch because it's the nicotine pouches. And initially, what the marketers or manufacturers said, they were saying it's an alternative. It was supposed to help people who are smoking to stop smoking. So it was sold or marketed as a safe, nicotine, an alternative from smoking. But you see, if you look at even the packaging of Velo, it is, they even say it's highly addictive. So the first question I asked myself, why would we allow a product from Hungary, brought in by a very big company to Kenya, sold to our children? It has no age limit. It is accessible. You will go into a petrol station. It's just accessible. Anywhere you go, you can have it. And then you are giving it to our young people.
Yeah.
That stuff, the minute you put it in your mouth, one, it has no smell. It looks nice. So it's attractive. It's calling our young people. It gives you a very quick high. Very, very, very quick.
A major head rush, I hear.
Kabisa. But immediately after, you cannot live without it. So what is happening to our children? Even as they use Velo, so it has become a gateway to many other products. Kwa sababu sasa unaanza kukunywa, unasikia before watu ukikunywa pombe lazima uongezeka Velo ndio hiyo hai ishike. Mtu wako kwa ofisi, unaona tu mtu wako zake tu, lakini because it's not a smoke, it's not, you can't see.
Can't even smell it.
Parents are staying with their children in the house. Watoto wako tu hai. Unashinda watoto watoto wako wamekuwa aje?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Unatafuta nini? Hakuna pombe, unatafuta kila kitu uoni, lakini mtoi that person. And unfortunately, our kids who are going to the universities, wanaenda, unajua sasa being introduced to it, unajua si pombe, so mzazi atasikia nikinuka pombe. And it has come to a point, I am a parent. I have parents who are my friends, whose children now cannot do without that product.
Proper addicts. They are
addicts and they can't function. Mmoja hata alipelekwa kwa pasta. Unajua amefukuzwa shule, wanaendanga tu wakifika Desta, wanafika waendi shule, wakifika Strath, waendi shule, wanaenda kukunywa, and part of it is that Velo must be there. So he became an addict, and when he couldn't afford, ako home, mtoto amekuwa zombie.
So now, after news, sorry. Please.
Oh, it's almost
just 5 minutes kidogo alafu tutu.
And by the way, because even the ones who are listening, let them tell you their experience about Velo.
Sasa shikilia hapo hivyo. Guys,
and not just Velo, any nicotine pouch, because I don't want to be told
I get you. Phone lines are open in the next hour. Right now acha tusikize news and then we'll be back with this conversation. Don't move, Mr. Tatu Kamili. Good morning.
Feel the rhythm, feel the vibe. Vibes Radio.
Morning Vibes, where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.
And I'm so excited kwa sababu Wednesday tunasemanga show ya madeni. For the Empress, we're so excited to have a very inspirational Empress in the building, Mheshimiwa. Nominated, honorable. Yeah. Sabina Chege. She's in the building, about to wrap up conversation tumekuwa nayo since the previous hour. Sasa tunataka kuingia hii maneno ya Velo, bro. Man,
substance abuse.
Ka ushaitumia Velo, my guys, and you feel like you've been addicted. Umeshindwa kuachana na hii stuff. Hebu tell us your experience. Unaweza piga simu sahi 0719012700. If you have any other questions for Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege, if you have any comments, umesikia hiyo conversation about for example Jubilee party, siasa Jubilee party. Phone lines are open right now 0719012700. Guy, sini mob. Now before we talk to you, najua magays hii wako na maswali ka 1000. Just want to remind you rakaraka, tazama utuzwe buda hapo unazatengeza do mob sana. You can make thousands of shillings, and the only thing unafaa kufanya ni chukua phone yako. Alafu kwa paybill weka the number 145656 145656 kwa account number weka the initials KM. Umeget. Haya, ukishafanya hivyo, guess what? Imagine unaweza cheza ama unaweza deposit as little as 20 bob. Now here it's interesting. Unaweza cheza na 20 bob hadi 50 bob. Now that one guarantees you a win of about 20,000 shillings to 50,000. Unaweza shinda do yote hapo hivyo, maybe 30,000 shillings ama hata 40k. Now ukacheza na 51 bob hadi 99 bob, you can win yourself about 100,000 to 300,000 shillings mazi. Ni dofiti. Ni dofiti. Inaweza change maisha yako, inaweza change game plan. For those of us who wanted to stay in Nairobi for the holidays, sasa ukashinda hapa hivi 100,000.
Unafanya nini Nairobi?
Straight to Kisumu. Very fast. All the way to Nyeri.
Tunakwenda mountain. Alafu tukishishi swimming. Sango.
Tushamaliza swimming.
Nilikuwa bado ni coast time.
Kajingjong. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Now like, so my guys, remember, it is all about tazama utuzwe. Paybill number ni 145656. Kwa account number weka the initials KM, and you can actually play with as little as 20 bob. Na nimekushow you're guaranteed to win thousands. So unangoja nini? We'll continue with this conversation tukirudi in a bit. Right now phone lines ziko open 0719012700. If you have a question for Madam Mheshimiwa. Yes.
Madam Mheshimiwa has a question for us.
Yeah, unajua nilikuwa bado najisikia kama presenter. So lakini before we even go to the phone calls, I think it's good I say my concern about this nicotine punches.
Oh sure. My
concern, apart from it being very addictive, ni vizuri watu wajue kwanza this thing can cause cancer. Okay. Na pia the implications zake, that's where you unakuanga na hiyo head rush, whatever it is, it can cause high blood pressure.
Oh what?
Kuna watu wamepata paralysis. Almost a case hata mtu anaweza kufa kwa sababu ya the effects of that.
Hizi ni cases umecheki hapa Kenya ama ni kitu umesomea?
Kenya, it is something that has there's some research that has been done. And so kwanza ukitumia hiyo kitu, sijui kama ushaitumia. Kuna those ka feeling unasikia kwanza nausea. Unasikia kutapika. Those to gum irritation nini. You know, it just tells you whatever you are getting inside your body is wrong. Hata mwili imeanza kukataa. And when you cannot do it without something, please know, wewe unajiweka kwa shimo ambayo itakuwa very difficult kujitoa. These people, because they pay taxes and everything, the government might think that they are getting taxes from them, but at the end of the day, the money that we'll use to treat these people who become addicts,
there you go,
the people who get cancer, you know, hiyo pesa itakuwa sasa, it's much more than what they paid. Taxes ni kidogo tu. So it is good for, and why I'm moving the motion in parliament is that we need to ban it. We need to make sure that this thing cannot be easily accessible. Watoto wetu, you know, our young people, once we expose this to them, what are we doing? We are killing a generation. That's why I said it's justice for the young people.
But let me ask you, clearly you've done your research about the effects ya kutumia Velo. Now, when it comes to the number of Kenyans using it, numbers inaonesha aje? And they're in the millions.
They are in millions. Actually,
millions.
If you go to, unajua kuna hii kitu kingine pia, hiyo hata sijui kama tuingilia leo, inaitwa vape. Ya watu wanatumia
e-cigarette.
na hiyo kitu pia ni chemical. Yani unavuta tu unasema ni, you know, it's nice, it has this nice kuna moshi. Some of them are flavored. But what it is doing to your lungs. Na unajua hii kitu, the worst part is that hata kuna watoi mpaka like teenagers wanaitumia. So unaona inakuwa what is the future? Brain damage. Yani
it's crazy.
See, actually about this around 2.5 million under 18 in Kenya.
What?
2.5 under 18.
2.5 million.
And 1 out of 10 between the age of 18 to 24 years wanazitumia.
Let me ask you a deeper question. That's unajua we can easily get out here.
And this is, by the way, this was National Youth Tobacco Survey that was done in the year 2022.
What is the reason for this crazy consummation of hii maneno, hii mambo ya Velo, nini unafanya inakariji?
Nini hata ndio mngeniambia nini na wafanya mtu hizi vitu? Ni influence tu.
You see what happens. There has to be
Let me tell you what happens. You know, the issue about drugs, seafood, vile unasema kwanza kuna wale unaenda shule unaambia if you want to be active in class usilale tumia hii kitu.
Kwa mshamba.
Exactly. Sijui ndio ukuwe more attentive, sijui ufanye nini. But and the influence ya peer pressure and it is also available.
What about
unapata haka kwa pouch. Like watu wanaweza nunua hata na kuna zingine mpaka 20 bob 30 unaenda mpaka unatolewa, so it's accessible. Iko karibu. Ukiona kama sasa alcohol whatever it is more expensive, unaona ni kadogo tu, we can buy, many of us tunashare kamoja we will get the same high maybe we are looking for kwa mzinga na mzinga ni expensive. It is just that one. But it's also, I would say it's an evil way for companies that want to make money, because anything that targets young people, that's where the numbers are.
Can I make a point?
You want to make money, but also introduce now the young people to other use.
Let me make a point. So
that's what is happening.
What you're saying is absolutely true. However, ukiangalia mambo ya drug abuse in the country, part of the reason nili find out that many Kenyans, not just youth, Kenyans in general, hata wazae wanatumia mavitu, is because of escapism. Mentally, people can't just handle this Kenyan experience. So even if it is just for 5 minutes, I'm just Iron Mellow. I just can't believe I'm in Kenya.
Let me ask you.
Don't you think stress and apathy ndo inafanya magays wanatumia drugs and abuse?
But use of drugs is not the solution. Because even if you get high within those 5 minutes, so after that, so unarudi.
Back to the end.
Utaenda uko high to heaven and then unadrop. Unajipata yani hakuna kitu imemove. We must take responsibility.
All right.
And you see, the issue of like Nakada. Nakada is supposed to be helping, especially the young people, even the people who are using drugs, to help them, rehabilitate them. But the minute that Nakada was put in the Ministry of Interior, Nakada treats drugs abuse as a criminal affair. It should not be. It's a health issue. We should actually address it as a health issue. Wale criminals ni wao watu wanaleta hizo vitu.
So, are you trying to tell us Nakada ndo wamefail in their mandate? They have not
really got it, because I just want to say, that's what I'm saying, drug abuse is not, it's not a crime. Kwa sababu kuna wale watu unaenda tu unajaribu, ulikuwa tu wenyewe ni happy, ulikuwa unajaribu, hiyo kitu inakushika na unakuwa addict. You need help. You don't need mtu akuja kushike. Even use ya bangi na gile kitu ingine. Unajua mtu wa bangi akishikwa, these people are very strict. Unaenda unawekwa remand, unaenda unaintroduce kwa other drugs. So you come out of that place worse than you are. Instead of just helping and saying, by the way, we need to help you, we'll rehabilitate you, but look for these peddlers. So
in terms of legislation, what's your proposal?
No, my proposal first on the nicotine pouches is to ban. Ban and to have proper regulations. Why does any country want to bring an addictive product? Na wameandika highly addictive. You want to bring it to your people for what purpose?
All right.
Kev, kuna msemo wasema na like unabonga fiti kwanza unaitwa ndani kama mzazi na kuna msemo wasema
ni sad. Wale watu wameaffectiwa na kitu. It's very sad.
Kuna wengine wanasema ife kuspamia hapo kwa Velo, inafaa kwa kina Velo, kwa kina shisha na a lot of substance abuse imekuwa zikitumika. Sasa hadi anasemaje including ukiwa travel uko foreign hakunanga kampuni za tobacco. Unagi kama vilisi hapa tuko na hii yetu ya sigara. Unanishika? So kuna mtu anafilaje ama mhesh. Kuna ujezi mawoza makateli zimekuwa zikiendelea. Kampuni ya tobacco ya Kenya juu ina lose watu wengi ambao huvuta sigara, wamefila kupatia kakiru ndio
that's what I say, it's an introduction to tobacco use.
It's a gateway drug.
Remember the first way of marketing it, and I still want to say that nicotine pouches ilikuwa ni ati kureduce wale watu wanasmoke
sigara.
I would even want we do a quick sample here. Wale watu wanatumia Velo. Have you ever even smoked? They had not. But after that, unajua ukiwa addict sasa unakuwa nicotine addict. So then you look now for the cigarette.
Nice.
So it's a way of backdoor. Kujaribu kuhook my clients, unajua.
Let's take a short break.
Ni addictive.
Let's take a short break. Guys, remember it's 0719012700. We are here with Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege. Sasa history ya Velo by the ushaitumia and how was the reaction? Unafilika uko addicted and umesikia mesha it's actually a gateway drug. Sasa imefanya ukachukua maybe some other things like manyans. Unajua manyans? Ama maybe you took whatever. Mabangi nini. 0719012700.
Have a reggae morning on Vibes Radio.
Alright, piga simu manze, phone lines ziko open right about now. Guys, tuko na Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege, tunge na Rafo babake Jaden. Good morning my guy. Uko fiti?
Good morning.
Karibu sana buda, tuko na Mheshimiwa nominated member of parliament Sabina Chege. Unaweza msalimia alafu ulize swali whether ni kama hii maneno ya Velo ama siasa ya Jubilee. We are open minded.
Salimia Mheshimiwa hasa hapo kwanza.
Nimesalimika sana. How are you?
I'm good.
Sema bro.
Nakaa Kiambu sawa. Lakini hii mambo naona tu kila wakati mtu akitaka kuamka anaamka na uhuru. Yaani nikaa central tu tukue tu kitu kimoja tu. Unapata ile time mtu unapata ukitaka kuingia kwa serikali lazima uongee vibaya kuhusu uhuru. Kama president na ashatoka huko. So hiyo mambo si mzuri. Pia hii kitu ya mavijanajo, kazi ndio hatuna.
Historia ya Velo umesema ni mavijana wana kazi.
Vijana hawana kazi kef. Si ati ni
Rafu, acha nikuulize, ushaitumia ama unajua mse ameitumia?
Na hata jana ndio nimeiona mara yangu ya kwanza na isianga tu.
Ulicheki wapi?
Hapa tu Roysambu kuna mse alikuwa kwa club tu na akasunda akaeka. Kitu kama mafuta hivi unaifungua unaeka.
Ndio hiyo. Kamkebe.
Kamkebe green hivi.
Usiku nukaangalia hadi rangi ya mkebe.
Kwa hivyo Rafa, unasema hii kitu ni addictive sana, inaribu mavijana kwa ground
bana, inateseka mzee, unapata jo hajielewi.
Na umesikia Mheshimiwa amesema anaenda kupeleke kitu kwa parliament wa ban. Una support?
Aibaniwe, kitu yoyote inadhuru inafaa ibaniwe.
Alright, asante sana. That is Rafo babake Jaden. Now guys, wacha hata tusiongee siasa. It is all about substance abuse, drug abuse in the country. Velo, umeshaitumia Velo? Yeah, how was your reaction? Ulikuwa unafilika uko addicted already? Did it actually lead you to taking other drugs? Ama unasema man, hiyo kitu iko easy Kev.
Ama unataka kuiacha sasa na umeshindwa vile utaiacha.
Exactly. Yes, Mesh.
This is something.
Yes.
Ni vizuri kusema like the mention of Uhuru, I don't know who is using him to get into the government, but even when we mentioned him and when we were with him and died for him, and the same people who are now telling you sahi ndio walimkataa. Sisi tumekuwa na yeye na bado tuko na yeye.
Okay.
So there's no way I would mention him for any advantage.
Clarification.
And as I've said,
yes,
he has retired, and
right.
So we wish him well.
Wow.
But number 2,
yes,
sasa ukisema hakuna job, unatoa wapi pesa ya kwenda kununua Velo?
So lipewa labda.
Don't and that's what I say, don't look for an excuse.
Yes.
Kama uko kwa shida uliintroduciwa tu ikakuwa uko addict, accept, and because one of the things that you heal is accepting.
Mesh, let's answer calls zingine zi mob sana. Let's talk to Jojo. She's from Donham. Jojo, good morning.
Morning. Habari mheshimiwa?
Poa sana. How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
Niko salama kabisa.
Jojo, talk to us. Mambo ya Velo, have you tried it before ama unasikia tu stories zake?
Kwanza sasa swali ni Mavelo mnamaanisha ni bangi ama ni vitu vingine?
Hapana, nicotine pouch ndio nasema. Tu nicotine pouch.
Ni Kevo, hebu explain. Ni stuff ingine.
Jojo, unakumbuka kale ka stuff ulikuwa nako, kale ka mkebe.
Ilikuwa ngana mafuta.
Jojo, you know what I mean.
Ile mkebe ya kitambo ilikuwa ngana.
Ya Kavaseline. Unakumbuka kama mkebe?
Okay. Nimekumbuka.
Kaka na tuburungo tuna kama Orbit.
Kia white.
Okay, get it.
You get it.
Siwezi tumia vitu kama hivyo.
But ushaziona.
nishaikiona mimi mradi.
Hapo ndio tulikuwa sasa.
Nilikuwa nafikia ni bangi.
Yes.
Ya hizo zinaweza baniwa, zibaniwe hizo.
Asante sana Jojo.
Kabisa mbio.
Wazi maze, big up on yourself Jojo. 0719012700. Guys, we're talking about Velo maze. Velo is this nicotine substance. Inapatia wase haingine noma. And mheshimiwa, she's pushing for this thing to be banned. In fact, walikuwa hapa parliament and they're discussing the effects of Velo.
Maze, na wangomezo hiki kubaki. Ziminda nikigrow pia nikiwa kijana.
Haikukuwa hizo days.
Hazikuwa lakini
hiyo kitu ilikuja 2019 by the way. 2019 and it was banned in October 2020. Ilikuwa inaitwa lifta na ikaambiwa ni ligo na ule alikuwa CS Mutahi Kagwe wa health. Then immediately after wameleta na jina ingine na sasa imetolewa kwa Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Kwanza ilikuwa authorized Pharmacy and Poisons Board. How do you even authorize a drug?
It's crazy. Mesh, hold it right there. Kibri mwa Limuru.
Vito Sidem kutoka 150 Mungu Masi. Niaje Kevo.
Chilling buda hapa hivi tuko na Badman na mheshimiwa Sabina Chege. Story ya Velo guys. Umesikia hii maneno hii ya Velo? Ushaitumia before bro?
Hai Velo zi lakini hii nyingine vape tunapiga huku hivi.
Aya, umesema vape mnapiga?
Kidogo lakini ile tiji ya pressure unacheki sasa. Inaweza kuwa hivi kama mkomboka na kama nayo unasema hata kitu
kidogo. Na unajua ile effect iko nayo kwa lungs zako. Unajua ni chemical unaweka directly kwa lungs. Unajua effect yake it's even worse than cigarette.
Sasa inabidi tu mayuto waache. Hiyo si sana.
Na una support idea ya kuban vitu kama Velo for example? Una support idea ya kuban Velo?
Nafaa.
Sasa big up on yourself. Let's talk to Yolali kutoka Kibra.
Voke.
Wagwan my guy, uko fiti?
Mimi niko best.
Budo umesikia mhesha hapa vitu umebonga, tumereason vitu mob sana, but specifically sasa hii conversation ya Velo. Umesikia story ya Velo budo, shai try before maybe?
Mimi natambua Velo, sitambui Velo.
Damn. I like so straight talk and I like Buddha. Big up on yourself. Ngash.
Yeah, okay.
Wagwan bro, karibu sana, salimia mheshimiwa Sabina Chege.
Boteka Sabina.
Hai.
Aya.
Buddha mimi.
Unaje historia ya Velo kubaniwa? Ushaitumia before maybe effects zake zilikuwaje? Ulikuwa na feeling kwa addicted?
Mimi nasikia tu nikai kobie.
Unaona nikai kobie?
Velo mimi natumia hii inaitwa lift hii.
Unatumia lift. Na umesikia vile mesha ametuambia effects za lift uko tu sawa na hizi
juu imekuja kujulikana ni ma chemicals.
Ile kitu hiyo ni boni na vile risk ya kutabika kama saa ingine.
Kakianza kuliet.
Lakini juu haina harufu. Nisikia tu iko bie, juu hiyo kitu at least inachafuni kukimbia.
Kwa hivyo bado unaitumia?
Bana.
Na sasa hiyo umesikia mhesha anasema nini zake, mangori zake. Na hadi iko karibu kubaniwa, unafilaje? Una support baniwe ama mhesha kuna stories za jaba?
Mimi naona tu iko bie, mimi pande yangu juu sasa siko mboka.
Na wewe unauliza unadhani sema huko mboka na unapata pesa ya Velo?
Manze.
Sasa niko na memorio.
Kuna swala kujenga.
Kwa hivyo ni peer pressure.
Tuende. Tukipatana tu base hizi kwa saa moja kanayo.
Noma.
Bado Kenya niko na pia tunafanya.
Na share.
Ngash, kwa hivyo unatushow wewe ni addict, uko addicted.
Bana, naweza takadi advice.
Unataka kuacha?
Naweza.
Na pia ungependa usaidizi, si ndio? Sasa wewe
mwenyewe. Tunatumia jo.
Haina noma.
I can even tell by your voice. So Mesh, I admit he's exactly saying he's addicted. Na mbogi yake ndio inamsort.
And that's why I said, unajua ile access kwa sababu kinwako kwa mkebe mnaweza share haraka kidogo. So we'd actually need Nakada to come in. So such a young person kama anataka usaidizi, can they have access kwa hospitali ama in a place where you can go get a help desk. Wende unajua kuna zile dawa mtu anapewa za kudetox, ndio ile hiyo nicotine itoke kwa mwili yako. So that's what we need to have, and so that our young people, you can make a mistake, but I should not blame you for the mistake you did. I should help you to come out of that place. Umelan pia wewe ukue an ambassador wa kuongelesha wale watu, naambia mimi I pass through this path, tafadhali msipitie.
Acha tusikie stories zingine.
Same time unapata hizo Velo, maybe hata gava nini hosi aziko rada kama watu ready kwa ground na wako wengi rada. Unaona? Unajua hata like most of the hata wazazi wengine hata wajui ni nini na watoto wanawatumia. Watashtukia tu haya. Unaona hata ukipata mtu wetu ameshika hiyo kitu utafikiria ni mafuta, ni sweet, inakaa tu ni kama chewing gum. Because haina smell. So you see, it's a way, it's a marketing gimmick that those international companies wanatumia kumaliza watu wengi.
Wacha tusikie stories zingine guys. 0719012700. Have you ever used this stuff inaitwa Velo manze? Na reaction
or
any other nicotine substance? Una feel aje reaction ilikuwaje? Are you addicted? Mheshimiwa has taken this conversation to the floor of the house na wanataka kuiban. Kama sasa vitu zitakuwa sawa huko hivyo parliament. Let's talk to Isaac from Nyeri. Isaac, mambo vipi my brother?
Poa.
Karibu sana buda, tuko na mheshimiwa, unaweza msalimia alafu tuambie historia ya Velo.
Mwesh. Sasa Isaac.
Poa, salama sana.
Good.
Talk to us Aizo. Sa Velo una support hii substance ikwe banned from the country na ushaitumia before Isaac?
No, one thing, vitu kama hizo, those are poisonous things. Why can you try to poison your body?
The poison.
Anything processed, first of all, hata tuanze anything processed, hiyo ni chemical, venye madamu amesema ni hivyo. So anytime you consume such a kind of a thing to your body, it just is one thing inaanza kwa ile kupea ile nini dependence. Unataka kutumia kesho kutwa, because it's not a natural thing. Tuseme wewe unakula mboga kila siku, you cannot be addicted to mboga because you are a vegetarian. Hapana. Because it's natural. But this chemical is added some sedatives and some things which will make you to want it tomorrow and again and again.
Isaac,
at the end it's brain damage.
Why do you think many youth are using this substance?
One thing, the level, the way the economy is right now, watu wako nje. So you find when you msikia kijana amesema ukienda base utapata jamaa ako nayo, kesho si utapata tena utapewa. So sinaona kesho atapata, ataanza kutafuta do ya kupata hiyo tena kesho na kesho. So don't influence.
Sasa peer pressure. Asante sana Isaac. Let's talk to Anthony kutoka Meru. Anto.
Yes baba.
Karibu sana my guy. Uko fiti?
Kabisa.
Gautia mheshimiwa, then we can get into this conversation ya Velo.
Zana salimia mwesh.
Anto ni aje?
Poa sana mwesh. So hii vitu kuna zingine zinaitwa mpaka ukienda kupeleka emotion. Sema mpaka kitu inaitwa kubel.
Kubel.
Yes.
Kubel. Mbaya. So I once tried hiyo kubel. But at the end of the day niliacha juu haikuwa poa. Ilinipeleka mbaya.
Ulimanage aje kuacha? Unajua most of the people when they become addictive
I just had it once
na ukasikia sio poa.
Ukasikia kizunguzungu.
Nikasikia si poa. Kizunguzungu na kula chakula mob.
Tumbo inakusumbua.
Inakusumbua hii kizunguzungu hadi nijipata nimejishikiria na post ya stima maze.
So do you support the initiative mheshimiwa ako nayo hapo hivyo kwa parliament, wanataka wa ban this substance?
Hiyo initiative iko poa. Aende hizo vitu zibaniwe kabisa.
All right, asante sana Anthony. Vibes Radio, good morning.
Yo.
Mambo vipi yo?
Vipi okay.
Talk to us buda, tuko na mheshimiwa Sabina Chege. We're talking about substance abuse in the country. Hii inaitwa Velo. Tunasikia mavijana wengi wako addicted. In fact there's a guy called Ngasha alipiga simu akasema anaitumia sana na ameshindwa kuiacha manze. What is your experience? Unaweza semaje historia ya Velo?
Hiyo kwanza nasalimia mheshimiwa hapo.
Nimesalimika sana sasa.
Fiti. Hizi vitu kwanza mimi mwenyewe personal nimezitumia.
There you go.
Tumia Velo, Kuber, Ugoro, Tambu. Naona. Mashashola. hii story yote ni story ya idleness.
Okay.
Idleness ndo kila kitu. Unaona? Yeah, so ukisema unaban Velo ina tofauti gani na Tambu, Kuber na Ugoro? Hakuna tofauti, si ndio? So
mimi ndio mwanzo ya kwanza.
So selective banning. Wow. Selective banning sisa unaban kila kitu, unaacha vitu natural size.
Mesh, what do you have to say about that?
It is true. Kuna vitu nyingi sana ambazo sijaguzia leo ambazo ni addictive, but you have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And you see the worst part of it might be easy zingine kubere and everything, might be access aziko vile aziko kwa like limelight. Hii kitu nicotine pouches imefanywa ni kama it's a cool thing.
So trendy.
It is in the supermarket.
Karibu kuwekea billboard.
Exactly. Iko kwa supermarket.
Yeah.
Iko kwa petrol station.
You're very right.
Access, you know, hizi zingine labda utahaso kidogo uende na uko back street ndio ipate.
Yeah.
But this one we have made it look so cool.
Yeah.
And you have even decorated it.
Yeah.
We are advertising it. We are attracting our young people to something that is addictive. Unaona hata sigara, kama sigara hata zinauzwa. Unaona kama gava ilianza na kuban smoking in public, you know all those things. Then unaambia kwa ile packet kuna ile picha mbaya, mtu akona kansa ya meno, sijui ya wapi. It is scary. So by the time you are taking it, you have been known, unaambiwa hii kitu sio poa.
Yeah.
But for this one, tumeandika tu it's addictive, it's highly addictive. Niyo tu. So kabla ni uniambia highly addictive, mimi nataka high.
Yeah.
So I'll even buy it more because I don't know, ujaniambia hii kitu itanifanya nipate blood pressure, ujaniambia inaweza nifanya nipate cancer. Ujui hata inaweza affect hata brain development yangu, ujaniambia.
Have you tried to reach out to watu wana manufacture stuff? What are they saying?
How do you even reach out to them? That's the first
thing. What explain parliamentarians?
They would not, because what happened when the CS banned it in the year 2020. So wakasema ifanywe regulation na tobacco control. Sasa wakaenda kwa tobacco. So the only thing they did ni kuweka ati it's addictive, hiyo tu.
Attack age limit nothing.
Hakuna nini. Sasa imekuwa walitumia tu tuseme ile backdoor. And that is why the first thing I did is to ask the minister. Asked, are you aware of this thing? Where does it come from? Ndio tukambua story inatoka Hungary. Can you imagine product inatolewa Hungary inaletwa kumaliza watu wetu?
Na Kebs wanamezea story.
That is it.
So
there's somebody who is looking at the money that is coming in, they pay taxes or something. But I said, think twice. You can pay 1 million taxes, lakini ile pesa itatumika kwa watu wetu ambao wako addicted. You lose a generation. And that's why I say justice for our youth. Because young people, itakuwa ni fun for now.
In fact, ni fun.
It is fun for now. Maybe we are idols. Tumekaa, tunatumia kitu. But what happens? As a parent, mi naumia kuona mtoto wangu. Ama mtoto wa rafiki yangu. Or even not even just young children. Can I tell you, they are adults. Kuna watu wako kwa maofisi. Wanatumia hii kitu. Ati mtu hawezi survive without it.
Yeah, apparently.
So surely, what are we doing? And as somebody said, it's chemical. It is not a natural product.
As long as
but don't come lie to us that you want to help the people who are smokers to reduce smoking. Hakuna kitu kama yole watu wanatumia kuna smoker. Actually, now it introduces you to nicotine. You would even want to smoke.
So what level are you in kwa hii conversation, for example, in parliament?
I'm now when we did the first the question and I was not satisfied with the minister's answer. So what I've done is now I've drafted a motion to ban, and that's what I'm looking for, even for my members of parliament. Majority of them didn't even know what it was. I even showed them what it was, and I'm now lobbying so that I can get support when the motion comes on the floor, parliament to pass for banning. Baniwe kabisa. So as they look at the laws and everything else, when you know something is bad, before hata justify maneno mingi, wacha kwanza hiyo kitu isikuje Kenya. When it's not there, so once parliament, we pass laws. When we pass a law and say this thing should be banned in Kenya, imepita. And the president to sign, that is it. So first, kwanza tukate ile market, tukate kuingia Kenya, so that our young people, sasa tuanza maneno ya rehab. So you know what happens? Once a product you become an addict. Sasa zile itanini kuna zile.
Find another way ya kurudi kwa inchi.
Black market.
No, sasa you see now, if it's black market,
so
tunaweza now deal nayo when it's black market. But what have we done now, as I've said? it is accessible.
Normalized.
It is cool. Yani mtu anabeba atakuwa ka handbag, unaona mtu aweka amebeba tu unafikiria.
Promotion unaongeza hizo. Unaongeza hiyo in case irudi tena.
Sasa when a law comes in
kwa mlango.
Unaona when the law comes in and the ban comes in, then the ministry will also give now their own wanasema regulations. If you are caught selling, then this is it. There are fines, there are what, all these things. Because for me, I want to save a generation.
Absolutely.
That is my desire.
Please
not for anything, not for any political mileage or anything. This one, I am doing it from my heart to save a generation.
What about ile stuff ya nilikuwa na conversation debating in kali sana with my brother here Kev. Karen was also pushing a conversation ya kubana aluta. Wanasema alikuwa anasema aluta buda madrugs natumiwa huko
Velo Velo sana baby.
You know what aluta is, right?
Ni ile watu wanakaa
4 days back to back.
Watoki.
Yeah.
Hivyo ndivyo wanaiweka. Basi ukweli.
Una support hiyo
ukweli yangu mwesh. Cheki. I try to justify historical yangu.
Why are you justifying?
Kwa sababu kitu moja.
Yes.
One, watu wanaandikwa job na hiyo shughuli ni hospitality, ni kazi ya muziki, ni clubbing. Ni wewe mhesh unakuanga Monday to Saturday uko job. Ukapata Sunday nile siku jua uendangi church. Family
we wenda church sana.
You see what I'm doing, bro?
We wenda church
Sunday.
Mimi nataka watu waende church.
Family imeenda church. Lakini wewe uendangi church. Wewe ni mtu wa jingjong kwa uchana nini unaona simiyo cha niende basi pale Standard kuna kuanga na muziki uchezongo hiyo masaa.
Let me tell you something.
Tunakosania na nchi mambo ya 4 hadi 6.
All I'll say is everything that is in excess is poisonous.
Absolutely. It's an abuse.
And you know,
overdose.
We can do many other things. Kama sasa kuna hii Nairobi festival. There are things that you can be able to do. Hata si usome, si hata uende ucheze football ama tu uende Karura. Ama kwa park walk. Go check. Wacha nikwambie kuna many like now on Monday I was in a children's home in Kayole.
Yeah.
And there's just this lady amejitolea inaitwa by Grace, ni children home ya orphans. Watoto wale watoi wametupa. Kuna tutoi mpaka 3 months. Huyo mama alijitolea tu. Ameweka watoto kwa building moja na analipa. There are more than 300 children. They don't have food. Sometimes they even need teachers. Watu wana offer tu. Go offer yourself. This idleness, ukisema you're idle. What I normally tell young people. From my own experience. Mimi sikukaa kwa nyumba nigoje. And I'm a last born na nililelewa kwa ushago. Mimi nilikuja Nairobi kwanza kutafuta job ya house girl. Because I said there's something I can be able to do.
What?
That is my story.
Jeez.
Before I went to the university. When we say watoto wako university, I used to work when I was in the university. Mimi sikuwa trained journalist. But I knew how to speak Kikuyu. Nilienda Kameme nikauliza job. And nikasema, by the way, I'm a student. And because from 8 to 5 I've been in school, nikaomba boss wangu anipatia night shift. For 4 years when I was in the university, I used to work from 9 to 1 a.m. Na Saturday ninaenda kurecord vitu zingine. Tumeenda, Kameme was new, so we had to go and source and do a lot of work ourselves. We didn't have the luxury of having producers, whatnot. Tulienda kutafuta. You know Eric Latif?
Yeah.
He's the one who interviewed me.
No way.
He's the one who trained me on how to use this machine.
That's what's up.
So tusiseme tu, you know, every time you have a reason to do something, you can blame hakuna job ya ido wiko. There's something you can do. There's something you can do. Unaweza enda hata ufanye ka job somewhere car wash. Wale kanisa enda upanguze viti za kanisa. Arrange church. Somebody will see you. Don't stay at home unasema hakuna job. Enda tu, kuna medical camps, kuna nini, offer yourself. There's somewhere you'll go offer yourself. Kuna mashule. Wewe ni graduate. Wewe ni graduate. Na umekaa tu home juu hakuna job, ni sawa. Go to your nearest primary or secondary school. Mwambie, by the way, instead of staying at home, I want to offer myself. Nitakuwa nikiwalk tu, nakuja asubuhi, nitakuwa nikisaidia watoto. You never know, labda kuna mzazi hapo atauliza, and who is this young person? Wanaambia this young person has offered themselves. They will, I'm telling you, once you offer yourself, somehow utapatana tu, Mungu atakusaidia.
That's
a positive way of kuangalia.
That's what I just want to say. Tusikae tu. People will notice you when you are out there.
Idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Exactly. Go out, offer yourself, try to do something.
Mheshimiwa, have to cut you short.
An empty stomach is the devil's.
That is so motivational, especially at the time when mavijana yani wanafeel yani
grinding imekuwa hard.
Things don't make sense. Wase wanafeel like hopeless, but kitu nime get from this conversation is we don't have to look for escape mechanisms kama drugs, number one, ya escape our reality. And also lazima tujitume. You have to be busy, get out there, do anything, start a project,
Nyeri
get into conversations. Very, very powerful stuff. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for turning up leo. Najua labda you have to, I know you're very busy.
But kabla toke, swali tu moja nataka kumuuliza. Na tulisa moja tu tafadhali. Mhesh, kuna history nataka sana utuambie. Azimio want Sabina Chege to refund tax for Jubilee whip post. Alafu anasema Azimio moja want Jubilee party whip Sabina Chege to refund money paid to her courtesy of the position, arguing that the post is unconstitutional.
Wataka refund your do.
Rudisha do.
Hiyo ni story. I hear walienda kotini juzi. Wamenisukuma watu. But all I just want to say is this. One,
na vile unafightia Jubilee.
One, me, I have fought for Jubilee party. The people who have left Jubilee are the ones who are not loyal to the party. I will remain in Jubilee. There's no form of intimidation that will put me down. Right. I am a fighter. And let me tell you, awaze akina Oparanya. Oparanya ni guka.
Do rudishi.
Jesus.
Oparanya is my grandfather. He should be looking out for me, guiding me, and mentoring me. This intimidation that now it's about Sabina. Na kwanza unajua kwanza akiona wewe ni mama, if you are a lady, they think they can intimidate you more. There's no form of intimidation that is going to put me down. I will stand with Jubilee. Everybody left Jubilee, I was left there. Jubilee will not die because Oparanya is in ODM. He would want maybe Jubilee to die. And number two, I will fight for my space.
Okay.
The speaker made a ruling. It is a matter that is now in court, and I will not want to go into details. There's a speaker's discretion. There's nothing I have given myself. I deserve the position. I deserve whatever comes with the position. Na hakuna position ya pesa ya mama ya mtu nimechukua.
Kwa hivyo history ya doa hakuna
kitu nimechukua. Kwani mimi nimeenda kuchukua kitu ya mtu? And it's not Azimio. See, they first deal with their own internal issues.
Okay.
Mimi mwenyewe nilienda huko Siaya. I went across the country. I went even to mobilize for those people. Where was Oparanya? Where were they? When I was going to mobilize people ndio wa register as voters. We went to those regions, tunapata mtu wako 30 years ajai chukua, wanaambiaka baba tu tutakuchagua. But they have no even they have not registered as voters. We mobilized, we offered ourselves. We offered ourselves. And if they think intimidation is what is going to put me down, let them look for somebody else, not Sabina Chege.
That's how we wrap up this conversation. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Sabina Chege, nominated member of parliament, and of course the acting leader of Jubilee, and Pia whip. Yes, Jubilee whip.
Jubilee party whip.
Party whip. Yes,
in
good stuff in parliament.
Thank you.
Yes. Imekuwa real. Imekuwa real. Now guys,
this is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.